Welcome to the end of the day. I guess we all survived. I had two jobs to do today. One, I basically updated a computer to make it more reliable. For whatever reason, it took like 45 minutes or more. I don't know exactly how much time it took to do the updates, so I told that customer I was going to go do another job, which I had already scheduled. That was an internet upgrade. So I installed some internet hardware, a mesh system to make his wireless throughout his house, his 2,000 square foot house, a lot more reliable. So the call I did, that was easy, just to do updates. I came back after that. He was good. He was also a very interesting character. And that's why I've realized a lot of my customers, they enjoy my company, not necessarily because I'm making their problems go away professionally, but sometimes they just want someone to talk to. A lot of my customers are older and they get lonely. I was talking about loneliness and being alone days ago. A lot of my customers, especially the elderly ones, they spend time alone. This particular customer chatted me up. I'm not a psychologist, but sometimes customers just want another customer, not another person to chat with. I'm totally cool with that. And it's good for my health. It's good for their health to stay social. That's the social creatures that we are. And I enjoy the work. That customer was an interesting character. I enjoy interacting with people. My other job was a little more straightforward. Also very thrilled with my results. His Wi-Fi is now bulletproof. He was talking about how the professional he almost hired gave him a weird heebie-jeebie feel. So he ended up calling me. So again, it comes down to good social vibes. I ended up getting that job. Of course, that customer was a professional psychologist. So he was able to recognize the other person was a little too eager and a little too aggressive to get that job. So one of my talents, despite not having enough business acumen to be a financial rock star at the moment, I do understand that professionally speaking, one of my talents is not just the technical skill set, but to be able to socially entertain others without intimidation. And one of the things is, I like it when, like, this particular customer was at my shoulder watching me work. His particular job took a little bit longer than expected because he was up on the hill where internet is like spotty, not because it said internet cellular service is spotty. So to set up some of this hardware, you're using a cellular connection through your cell phone to get the Wi-Fi going. So that was part of the problem and why it took a little bit longer, but we ended up piggybacking the internet through the existing mesh system that he was using to get things going. And then of course we had to call tech support to activate his new cable modem, and we got that going. But we had to get rid of that phone call because as soon as we unplugged the older cable modem, we plugged in the new one. But during that process, it drops the phone call because Wi-Fi calling is how we got the phone call going, because we had to give the MAC address to the service provider. And those are the things that people pay me for, because a normal person is not going to know, one, that they have to call tech support to activate new hardware, and two, how it all works together. Because, like I said, was it yesterday? I was talking about a customer who managed to build their own computer and build their own YouTube studio, and yet they ended up hiring me to install Windows. That's order of operations learning. He got everything going and he didn't have any failures, so everything worked. I don't understand how he got Windows working before I ever came into the picture, but fundamentally he needed help installing Windows despite having built his own computer. But anyway, order of operations is great if things don't go wrong. Professionals are hired for when things do go wrong. Like, I got things going today because the internet wasn't working through the cell phone. This neighborhood where he is, there's zero cell service. So without Wi-Fi calling, you're not getting a phone call. So in fact, he had some legacy hardware. He had a little cellular antenna that plugs in by Ethernet to his router. Well, I told him that is actually legacy hardware, no longer needed, because cell phones built in the last several years do Wi-Fi calling. So I explained that his cellular connection is no longer cellular directly. It goes through the Wi-Fi. He's got a late model Android, so does the rest of his family has iPhones. So I explained that once his internet was bulletproof, his cell service will now be bulletproof. So now we've got a technician that's going to come out from a service provider because his internet is still not as fast as it should be. So he might have some filtering issues or some bad hardware outside of the house, but I did my job. And we did increase the speed. So he's paying for 500 megs. He's getting 3 now. He was only getting like 2 when I showed up. So we called tech support. They actually said that they knew that some of his hardware, like his original cable modem, was old. So he now has a new cable modem, the new Arrow Wi-Fi router mesh system, and it's very reliable in a 2,000 square foot house. That's where we are. I spent 2.5 hours there, maybe 3, maybe a little bit longer than that because I took him shopping, if you include that shopping time. That's always questionable. I don't necessarily want to charge people my hourly rate just to go shopping for 20 minutes. So we went to Best Buy. I was about to tell him to go to Amazon and then I'd come back, but it's always best when we can just knock it all out in one day. I don't want the risk of 1, customers figuring things out without me, or 2, hiring someone else because I didn't answer the phone in time. So usually not a problem, but I do know it occasionally happens. So I want to be able to accommodate my customer whenever possible. So that's how the day went. Oh, and then I knew that they were thrilled because it said, well, can we put your review anywhere? Oh, and then I have to go back, or potentially go back, to get their stereo going. I guess when they did some remodeling, their stereo got unplugged, and then I realized, oh, well, they also discontinued their cable service, so there's no cable box, which is why the TV directly isn't communicating to the stereo, because when you have Netflix firing out of the TV, you now need an optical cable to go from the TV to the home theater stereo, which you didn't need before because they were getting all that stuff through their cable box, which is plugged straight into the TV, the stereo receiver through HDMI and optical. So I don't even know exactly how it was happening before because there's more than one way to do things that are correct. But that's essentially it. I told him to go get a $20 10-foot optical cable, and his surround sound, minus the center channel, should be fine. And that's pretty much the bulk of how I spend my time. It has been slow, but this last week has been kind of busy. That's what's up. I think if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know a little bit more about what I'm up to and my trials and tribulations. That's pretty much all I've got to offer today. I'm going to go get some dinner and get ready for tomorrow's afternoon appointment. I'll probably take my mom on her little physical therapy session tomorrow morning, since I have that time available. I wasn't able to walk her today, and she was busy visiting with a friend anyway. And that's what I've been up to. Have a good Saturday evening. You will see me maybe tomorrow. Bye.